What is up, guys? It's Red back once again, and yes, I am still alive. Now, I'm sure a lot of you have heard about this supposed leak by now, but I'm not sure how many people have heard the actual updates on it that bring this new information, so I'm going to do my best to run through this version of it and give my thoughts on the matter. So a little over a week ago, this information came out on 5chan, and again, as I said, you've probably seen this, so I'll just briefly run through it. It talks about Joker's stage, as well as some other Persona details that might be coming in the future. And it mentions that Persona 5 Arena production is being delayed due to Arc System Works, the developer, being busy with a Grand Blue Fantasy fighting game. Now, part of the reason this thing blew up was because a couple of days after the post, Arc System did in fact reveal the new Grand Blue Fantasy versus fighting game, which made a lot of people circle back around to this leak and say, hey, maybe we have something here. Now, more on that in a bit, but let's go back to the leak as there was more information. So the person went on to say that Dragon Quest will take up the Square Enix DLC slot that has been talked about for months now. They have it listed as Erdrick along with this stage, and mentioning that Slime will appear on stage possibly with a skill. The Erdricks will have color alternates representing other characters from the Dragon Quest franchise, which isn't strange as the Smash team does that sort of thing all the time, so that seems right at home for them. Now, here's the update to this leak, and I'll get into some personal thoughts after that. Now, I'm sure a lot of you remember I've talked about Polar Panda before, a user who I call the most upfront guy in the leak and insider scene, which is something I still stand by. Well, Polar Panda has some interesting information on the leak, so I'll go ahead and read what he has said about it. The Atlas info from the 5chan leak is 99% legit. I talked with Zenother and got into contact with someone directly connected to Atlas who can corroborate the P5R game and P5U game. However, since he only has Atlas connections, he cannot confirm the Smash information. He claims the Persona 5 Reloaded is a Switch exclusive. This perhaps makes Erdrick more likely because it means that even more of the leak is true, meaning Erdrick is a bit more likely by relation. I won't go into specifics because I did not get permission from Zenother or the source to name anybody, and I did not see these two games, but the person who had this info is quite trustworthy in regards to Atlas. I feel I'll provide more updates and talk with Zenother more when we figure something out. Keep in mind there is still a shred of a chance that the Atlas information is not true, as this is only coming from one source, but it looks quite likely. I would know this better than anybody since I know Mystic, who was the one who unearthed the Atlas RioCorp domains that publicized the P5R and P5U abbreviations. Not that he's the source telling me this information, it's somebody else even deeper. Fatman on Ice can support me here. The Persona info looks legit. People did not know what P5R and P5U were before. People speculated P5R was racing because of an Atlas survey done for a Persona racing game, and people thought P5U stood for P5 Ultimate or Ultra. Additionally, the information about internal delays over the Persona fighting game is legit, as is the P5R release date according to this source. So the Atlas part of the leak is not fake or piggybacking at all. What it says is true. It completely corroborates with what my contact has heard. I understand that the P5R and P5U domains were publicly known for over a year now, but the details of the leak are what completely match what Atlas employees have heard. I can't confirm Erdrick with this because I can only say that the Atlas info is 99% real, leaving that 1% in there because it's only from a single source. But they are connected deeply to Atlas, so I feel like they are completely reliable here. They do not have Smash info, so perhaps that part of the leak was just fake stuff thrown in. I will say I think it boosts Erdrick's odds a bit by association, but it does not guarantee of him or anything. So that's about the gist of everything. As you heard and saw, Panda did in fact get in contact with an Atlas source who confirmed the entirety of the leaked Persona information. So we know at the very least that part is probably correct. The part in question now is the Smash and Erdrick information. That's where it gets sketchy since, of course, the Atlas contact doesn't really know anything about Smash or Square stuff. So we have no idea if that part is actually true, meaning that we still need to wait and see if this person has any actual Smash sources, because it could be a case where only the persona information outside of Smash is true. Now this has the potential to get bigger once we end up seeing what Joker's stage actually is, and if that lines up with what this leak says, then we can say that, hey, okay, the person did actually have some Smash sources. But for now, it again comes down to what Panda was saying, as likely by association, but not guaranteed. Now, it is a common tactic used by some leakers to throw in false information mixed in with real information as to help them avoid getting into too much trouble. So we could be looking at another one of those cases where the Square info is completely made up to help cover up for the accurate persona information. There's really no way anyone can be certain on which is the case. So the Square rep is obviously a highly coveted spot. It's probably been the most talked about roster spot for months now. Erdrick is certainly an interesting choice for them to settle on, as this is a choice that will be lost on the majority of Western players. Dragon Quest certainly has a legacy, but it's not something that's been kept up with much in the West. So I'm trying to figure out when would make sense for them to reveal a character like Erdrick, since I feel a lot of Western Smash players will have no clue who the character is. If he's thrown into just a random Nintendo Direct, I feel the reception of him will kind of fall flat. One possible time though I think would make a lot of sense for the reveal would actually be the Tokyo Game Show in 2019. Now this event is huge and big reveals definitely happen there all the time. It would make a lot of sense to reveal a character like that primarily to the Eastern audience first and foremost. So something like that I feel is definitely an option on the table, but again, it's all my personal speculation. Nintendo could just go right ahead and reveal him in a regular Direct. After all, the leak did say the Erdrick choice was to help boost Dragon Quest's marketing in the West, so they may want him front and center even if a majority of players don't know the character. Now this is a case where Square and Nintendo may have looked at the success Fire Emblem had when it was brought to Smash. This series has grown tremendously in the West, especially due to those original Marth and Roy inclusions back in Melee. They could be trying to replicate that success here with Dragon Quest. The Smash boost is definitely a real effect that happens on characters and series that get added into Smash Bros. Players find characters they've never even seen before sometimes, and if they enjoy them, one thing leads to another and fans get converted over to a new series for them to enjoy. So I can see the logic from the Square side. And again, Dragon Quest XI is coming to the Switch next year, most likely. This could easily be their attempted efforts to help boost those sales in the way that a Persona 5 Switch version will get added sales from Joker's inclusion into Smash. It just makes perfect sense marketing wise. Both of these games have been out for a while now on other consoles by the time next year rolls around, so they do need a way to help attract new players to those games. And nothing says, hey, come check out my game, like getting your character into Smash Bros. Now, Erdrick is not some new name that's just come about. He's been talked about for months now and was a part of the fabled 7 characters on the list that was leaked from Vergman's DMs. Now, Vergman himself admitted that Erdrick seemed to be one of the names that came up most, and other insiders have corroborated that as well. Erdrick is a bit surprising to me, just in the fact that I do know his trademarks are scattered across quite a few different companies, 4 if I remember correctly, so there would be a lot of legwork and paperwork for him to be included. Those are a lot of papers to be signed and a lot of things to be discussed with various people. However, that could be what the leaker was meaning when they said achieved through active collaboration on Square's side. Perhaps Square went to bat that hard for Erdrick and got the negotiations taken care of personally with all the other companies, making it lighter on Nintendo's side. That could be a possibility. And again, the Erdrick or Dragon Quest play here isn't really about immediate gain for Square. I'm sure they know the gain from this initially won't look that impressive most likely, since people will have to warm up to this character. This is more about a long-term plan of getting people invested into the Dragon Quest series and seeing those gains in that regard for their future games down the line. But guys, these are just my thoughts. Let me know what your thoughts are on this situation down in the comments below and what you think is going to happen. My previous videos are on screen right there, so do check some of those out if you have time. Discord, Twitter, and Twitch links are all in the description below, so make sure to check those out and follow them. Don't forget to subscribe with notifications on for more future content. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys next time.